2 weeks after leaving the small Swiss village of Meiringen, the IFSC boulder athletes this weekend find themselves in the Chinese megacity of Chongqing, home to over 32 million people and, for a few days per year, home to 100 or so of the strongest climbers on Earth. The newly built Huan Climbing Park is the venue for this week's competition, and having cost €4 million to build, it was under pressure to provide a good show on its first day of official duties. Luckily, it delivered, and a crowd far larger than we normally enjoy in China turned up to take in a full day of climbing action. First impressions from the climbers were positive too, with several commenting on the steepness and size of the wall, as well as the dynamic nature of the boulders set by chief route setter Reini Fichtinger and his team. The men were up first, with Japan's Kokoro Fuji eager to back up his win in Meiringen with a strong performance here, and he duly delivered. 5 tops today saw him ease into the semis with a minimum of fuss. He'll be joined there by compatriot and reigning Boulder World Cup champion Tomoa Narasaki, who qualified first today, having shocked everyone by missing semis in Switzerland. It would in fact be easier to list the Japanese male climbers who didn't make the semis. No less than 10 of tomorrow's 20 semi-finalists in the men's competition are from Team Japan. Veteran Russian climber Alexei Rubtsov will be joining them there, continuing his strong start to the season by qualifying second today with a clean sweep of 5 tops. Just behind him in third was Jongwon Chon, who also looks in excellent form and is a real contender for the win here. Frenchman Jeremy Bondet was one of several high-profile casualties from today's action, his 3 tops meaning that he will be in the crowd rather than in front of it tomorrow, as will Yanei Kruder, Mikael Marwem, as well as Rustam Gelmanov and Sean McCall, the 2 of whom surprisingly shared 21st place today. Neither have yet made a semi-final in the 2 World Cups so far. Elsewhere, Albon Levier is also out, but France will at least be represented in the male semi-final by Manuel Cornu and Nicolas Pelosson, who sneaked in 20th and 19th respectively. Here's what a few of the protagonists from today thought.
So the qualification round was pretty tough, I think. Hard boulders, good boulders, pretty powerful. Not too many, really dynamic actually, 3 jumps in my group at least. But perfect style, I think, perfect difficulty.
There were jumps, there were slab.
We had crimps, we had slopers, we had mentals, so a lot of different stuff, and that's how a round should look like, in my opinion.
In the full glare of the fierce afternoon sun, it was the turn of the women to take the stage for what promised to be a very competitive round. World champion Petra Klingler was floored by a knee injury earlier this year, but it didn't stop her in front of her home crowd 2 weeks ago in Meiringen. She came 5th there and looked on form again today, make it safely through with 4 tops, 3 of them flashes. Few would bet against her making another final tomorrow. 4-time Boulder World Cup champion Akiya Noguchi looked somewhere close to her formidable best today and went through in joint 5th with Belgium's Chloe Collier. She narrowly missed out on semis in Meiringen and came to Chongqing wanting to reassert herself as one of the real contenders this year. Megan Mascarenhas has won the last 2 Vail World Cups, but at this early stage of the season she doesn't look on course to add to her trophy cabinet. She was 23rd today after finishing 20th in Switzerland. One climber who seems to be performing consistently early on is Fanny Gibert, who went through in 17th today, the highest ranked of any climber with 3 tops. She had 5 top 10 finishes last season and only just missed finals last time out in Switzerland, finishing 8th. Keep an eye on her tomorrow. Miho Nanaka, who was Shauna Coxey's closest rival last season, took 3rd in the first World Cup of the season and looked superb again today. She not only topped but flashed all 5 boulders and will be full of confidence ahead of tomorrow. The female members of Team Japan couldn't quite match the extraordinary achievement of the men by taking half of the semi-final spots, but they will take 3, with Miho and Akio being joined by Mei Kataki, another good outside bet for a place in the final tomorrow evening. The prospect of Japan claiming over half of the places in the final in both the men's and women's competitions is very real. female side of Team Great Britain also had a decent day today, with Michaela Tracy looking super strong and topping all 5 boulders to go through in joint third. The climber she shared third with was none other than Shauna Coxey, who dominated virtually all of last season, as well as the first round of this year's competition. It would have been a huge shock if she hadn't made it through today, but it never looked likely to happen from the second she walked onto the mats. She did all 5 boulders, and perhaps the only surprise was that it took her 7 attempts to do them. Michaela and Shauna will unfortunately not be joined by the third female member of Team G-Bree, Leah Crane, who made all but one semi-final last year, but is yet to make one in 2017. Sol Sa of Korea will be there though, having qualified in 14th today. Yanya Garnbrett will also be there, having put in a breathtaking performance today, flashing all 5 boulders. She was in the same qualification group as Shauna Coxey. Will her marginally better performance today give her a psychological edge tomorrow? Only time will tell. We'll be live with the semi-finals at 9:30 AM local time, followed by the finals at 6 PM, and the first Speed World Cup of 2017 sandwiched in between at 2:30 PM.